Pete, tell me, this is one of the four Bexley guys to be inducted into the Legends of Shires. One of five, if you include one of our esteemed colleagues from Canterbury, Trevor Davies, Legends of Shire 2007, Bexley Vice President, Bexley Life member, played from 72 to 2000, over 10,000 runs. Everyone knows Trevor.
Yeah, TD as we knew him when I first came to the club. He was a cornerstone of the first grade side. He played cricket at Petersham, I think, before he came across to us. Great bowler. As he got older, the arm came a lot lower, but he was still very effective. He was renowned for always having $20 in his top pocket when he played cricket. I think that was his drinking voucher post game. But no, Trev's more renowned for his feats on the field than off the field. He was one of the best players that the club's ever produced or had within its ranks. Great all-rounder.
I hear his name as far as playing capability mentioned the same breath as Harry Milburn.
Yeah, well, Milburn's record, I just didn't play with him, is pretty renowned, but Trevor's numbers are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I didn't play a huge amount with Trevor. Myself, I had a couple of games in first grade when I first started, but I was mainly in second grade, and then in the latter years, third grade, captain, and down the grades. But yeah, no, I got to know Trevor and his wife particularly well, and his young bloke came and played for us for a while as well, so it's a bit of a generational thing.
Yes.
But he's still a great fella. We catch up for beer every now and again. Yeah, Trev is just phenomenal. He's one of the guys that you played an enormous amount of cricket, could not remember another person's name from another team.
Yes.
But that didn't matter. He just loved to get him out.
Yep.
Understated sort of guy, but an enormously talented cricketer in his day. And he's turned his hand in retirement to golf, and I understand he's turned the cover drive into a golf shot these days. So he goes pretty well. I do remember though playing with him, and when he hit the ball, they really came out of the screws. He hit them hard. He's just one of those guys. He wasn't a particularly sturdy sort of bloke, but mate, he had great timing, and his bowling, as I said, was pretty exceptional. So A grade bloke and an A grade fella, and an A grade cricketer, I should say.
Marty Trev,
Yep.
Mr. Davies.
Yep.
Good mate. What are your memories of Trev?
Obviously, he's not a classical sort of a cricketer in either his batting style or his bowling style. Always had that slinging action as a bowler. Very quick in his day.
Round arm.
Yeah,
round
yeah.
arm,
It was very quick in his day. And yeah, just a great middle order batsman. Hit the ball. I haven't seen too many blokes hit the ball as hard as he does. He's got a bit of a baseball background.
Yes.
Which I think helps him. He's one of the few blokes I've seen that can really crunch a back foot drive. He's got his wind up and just whack through the covers and
Yes.
hits it like a rocket. But it's my first game with Trevor. I remember it was in my second year, so I still only would have been about 16 or 17, and it was up at Wentworthville. It's one of the few times I played on Monty Bennett rather than at Westmead Hospital.
Yeah.
And Trevor's wife had just given birth to Mark Davies that week, and so my first words were congratulations, which was something I went on to say quite a lot over the years of playing together. But for once, it wasn't for something he did on the cricket field.
Right.
And then, ironically, when Mark came to the club, I played fourth grade that year and played with Mark for a full year.
Yeah.
And I even had a one or two games where I played with Mark and Trevor. As I said,
Yes.
pretty special day that was.
Yes.
Trevor. I played a lot of cricket with Trevor, but also over the years we've used to go. Trevor and I and Jeff Armstrong used to go to football together all the time.
Yeah.
We always sit on the hill at Cogra Oval, all Mad Dragon supporters. Trevor would take his two kids, Mark and Alison, and myself, and usually my father would come along, and Jeff Armstrong would all sit. We go to the footy together, and even these days. back in January when the Test match was on in Sydney.
Yeah.
We had a day out. There was myself and Pete, Trevor, Davies, and Ray Nixon was over from New Zealand.
Yes.
So the four of us went out to the cricket together.
Yeah, gotcha, yeah.
So,
And it sounds like in his time as well, he was a very social guy. There seems to be many a social gathering after the cricket at his place.
Yeah. Trev
Or
was
presentation nights at his place.
Trev was, yes, we did have the presentation night at his one year. That was the rock and roll night. But Trev was never big for being on the executive or being on the committee.
Yeah.
But he did a pretty good job for quite a while to be on the social committee or the social secretary, and he knew how to have a good time off the field.
Yeah.
You know, the life is when you're playing Shires cricket and that you play a lot of away games, you finish late, you get home, and you know all your mates and that have already gone out. A bit different these days, I suppose. Kids go out a bit later, but in those days, you know, I'd get home from cricket and my mates had already gone out somewhere. So we tend to socialise as a cricket team together. We just meet up at someone's house and we even sort of nights like just playing Trivial Pursuit, and some of the stories that come out of that were a few beers and a game of Trivial Pursuit. They things got a bit
Trevor, your memories of Trevor Davies?
Well, Trevor Davies be the best player that I played with at the club.
Yeah.
He could open the batting, open the bowling, and his fielding was incredible. He didn't like opening the batting because sometimes the bowlers were a bit quick, so he preferred to bat down the order. But Trevor was fantastic, batsman and bowler. Didn't like to run a three if you'd hit it. Would have run a three if was the non-striker, if he was going up the non-striker's end. One of my favourite results is I managed to get him to run a 5 at Pennant Hills Oval one day. We'd run a 4. The pitch was the closest to, as you walk out on the right hand side. I hit it to the left hand side. Didn't quite reach the fence, but we had plenty of time to run a 4, and they managed to do an overthrow. So made him run a 5, and then he was on strike. So yeah, enjoyed that. But
I bet he was thrilled.
But in his back foot cover drive, and there's the brick box down there at Bexley on the right hand side, and that's where he used to aim. He used to aim to hit the drive down to there and to run away down the faster side. So that was his aim.
Really, yeah.
Spin bowling, you could hit him for 1-4 if they weren't a good spin bowler. You could only hit him for 1-4 and over. You didn't want to take them off. And, just milk them. 1-4 and a couple of singles. Just milk them. Don't get carried away. But he was the heart and soul of the social set when I first started.
Yes.
Lots of occasions at his place. Him and Ian McPherson sadly passed away, but they were the heart and soul of entertaining and their wives. And lots of times there at Bexley Oval, they'd come down and after the game, the ladies, and there'd be some food, some drink, and some good times. So Trevor was a great fella, and another one, like Marty and Roy and all the others I'm going to talk about. It's great to catch up with them now, and he's enjoying his golf now, and it's hard to believe that he's a decent golfer, because when he first started, he still hit a beautiful cover drive off the tee. But he was playing with someone like Trevor kept people playing.
Yeah,
That's about the ultimate thing I can say about him. You like playing and you wanted Trevor to be there.
Yeah.
Trevor was with the club playing first grade when I first started, and what a player he was. Beautiful batsman, his own unique way of bowling, Malinga before Malinga, unbelievable field, and what an arm, because he was a baseballer
Right.
as well. He played baseball here, Tomo, Bexley, and an unbelievable player, a great bloke, again a very funny bloke, dry sense of humour. And he came here when we had 2 sides in Tomo's 30th season with the club in 71, 72, I think he's still doing it. So.
That's bound to be one of many cheap shots for Tom. I'll just note that down.
Yeah, well, Tomo did start before the war. We're sitting there, it's pre-coronavirus I started.
Yes, yeah.
Trevor's an interesting one. Always get lost going to grounds. Just go back to Marty Cole. I'd just say Marty Cole, the only bloke who's timed out twice for not showing up late second week.
Mate, I have heard that story,
Twice.
mate.
Not once, twice.
Especially because it was before GPS. But there was the good old, Gregory's.
Well,
Sure.
he got there the first week. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Doing the second week, you've got to scratch your head about that.
Trevor, never remember names. That bloke from that club.
So tell me, he was obviously a gun. He's 10,000 runs for Bexley.
Yeah, as Trevor worked his way down, and I had the honour of playing a few games with Trevor in lower grades before he decided enough was enough. But you just saw the class of the guy. One thing I do remember about Trevor, getting a nice cricket shirt embroidered with your club, you go to the shop and get a business shirt. And the more like Trevor wanted, the higher denomination note he would put in his top pocket. So if you want a lot, like it was a $50 note in his pocket, top pocket.
Okay.
And you go, okay. Trevor was good for hosting end of season parties, him and Joanne. What I'm right in saying, Tomo, he didn't do a lot off the field committee wise. Yeah. He was more of a player to contribute to the club that way, not sort of I'll go and talk to the council. I'll go and get something for you.
Yeah.
That wasn't Trevor's scene, and that's fine. But he was a gun player. And a very funny man. Now has 2 new hips, I believe. Yeah. 1 or 2 new hips, and turned his life to golf.
Yep.
And is now happily retired in Patstow. Yeah.
Mate, good on him. Yeah. What do you know about Trev?
Trevor actually started at the club as a 14 or 15-year-old, I believe. And when I first came to the club, he'd gone to play grade cricket at Petersham. And so he came back, I think it would have been in the mid-70s, and I ended up playing a lot of cricket with Trevor. Only first grade in the 70s, and I was a keeper. And I could say that when I was keeping to Trevor Davies, my laundry bill for my cricket wipes skyrocketed, because he always used to throw him down the leg side,
Right.
and I'd be diving down the leg side, and I'd just come away with grass stains, too much to handle. But at the same time, a great fella to play cricket with, and a classic batsman. His drives were just in awe.
Yeah.
In actual fact, one of the trophies we've got is a set of broken stumps mounted on a shoe.
Oh, okay.
And we had a fella that we played against for Roseville. This was in first grade. His name was Dave Wiltshire. I think he'd scored centuries against us the 3 previous seasons, and Trevor bowled him out and broke the stumps. And that's the actual set of stumps. that
Right.
We finally got Wiltshire out on.
Yeah,
And
okay.
he didn't get a ton against us that day. Opened the bowling, very good in the field, mainly because of his baseball.
Yep.
And just an absolute joy to watch with the bat. Off the field, Trevor was a little bit, I don't know, he wasn't very committal in far as administrative business is concerned. I can't recall him being on too many committees, but he took a lot of pride in being on running the social committee.
Yeah.
And him and his wife Joanne used to have plenty of nights at their places, and he certainly made up for what he didn't do with committees, general committees, by doing social committees.
Yeah.
And I played lower grades in 3rd and 4th grade with him. I was probably his captain over a number of years, and he captained me. He was always doing a lot of coaching of younger cricketers away from our club too.
Right. Yep.
And of course his son Mark played for us for a fair while.
Yeah.
But Trevor, all round good guy, and all round very good cricketer.
Trev. Yeah, mate, he is a legend. He is a cricket nut. And when I joined, there were two sort of legendary stories about Trevor already. One was he used to go around and let us know, which cricket squares he'd had on.
Right.
And the other was where, on the day he was getting married, he was scoring runs, and his father had to come down and drag him off the field to go get married because he was refusing to get out until he scored his 100.
I didn't hear about the first story. He did tell me about the second story.
Yes. So that was Trevor, and he was just a legend. He was one of the best cricketers I think I've seen with bat and ball. He could just tear you apart. He opened the bowling when I was there and was batting about 5, I think, at the time. And then by the time I ended up captaining him, he was down to one spell. He could only bowl in one spell, and that was it. He wasn't coming back for a second spell. His body just wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
So we had to strategically work out when I was going to bowl him, and then just bowl him until he fell over after about 10 overs, and that was it. He never come back after that. And then get his son to field for him.
Oh, really?
So no, he was certainly one of the better. We had some really classy cricketers when I first joined. There were Ray Nixon, him, Jeff Armstrong, guys that were really good cricketers that were playing Shires.
Yeah,
certainly is one of the better cricketers I've ever seen play with the club. And one of the funniest guys. Again, doesn't take any crap from anything. He was just straight up and down, and and had the speed when he was bowling to back it up, which was fun. I think back then, like Trevor Davies, we played a game up Lane Cove Way, ended up playing in the dark. So I was captain. I had Kevin and Trevor and all those guys on the side, and their guys didn't want to play. It was a wet pitch. And in the end, they did want to play. We didn't want to play. It was totally wrecked. In the end, I won the toss, so they had to go in and bat on this dicey deck. And we're chasing a good total. End up playing with cars parked around the field with headlights on.
Right.
Come off. And Trevor, who hadn't scored a run in ages, went out and scored 11 fours in a row to win the game.
Oh, I know.
So
that would have been good to watch.
It was good fun.
When did you kick off with Bexley? And what were who were some of the guys that really had influence on you?
Well, I kicked off when I was 14, turned 15 halfway through the season.
Really?
And I thought I was a gun cricket in those days, and I wanted to play turf. So Bexley had the reputation that you could play turf cricket. And then there was always the aim to play turf cricket, get a year on that, and then go to grade cricket after that, which is what I did. When I got there at 14 or 15, I loved it. I got 500 and something runs the first year I played. So it always stuck in my mind. I'm going back to Bexley.
Yeah. Okay.
I went to grade. That was good for a little while, but it was very backbiting, and what grade and what grade you're going to make this year, this week, and everyone was sort of cutthroat. And I thought, no, I don't need this. I'm going straight back to Bexley. So I really love that because I had the good quality cricket, and I had good quality pitches, and the blokes was great.
Yeah.
So I go back there, and even when I went back there, you meet the Tomos of the world and the Harry Milburns, and Ian Fleming was the captain for 1 year. We had a good year 1 year. I think it was about 74, 75. We didn't lose a match, but a lot of matches were washed out, and he wasn't very aggressive. So we came tied fourth and didn't make the semis. I never made a semi-final in 30 years of playing for Bexley.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never once. And my son played. I got him to play, and first year, he's in the semi-finals.
Right.
So I wasn't allowed for that.
Yeah.
As a young kid, it made a big impression on me. I came back, and I've loved it ever since. And I used to look at the sky every night and say, "Oh, please don't rain tomorrow," because I want to play the cricket. And wanted. So I was really, really keen.
Yeah.
This story goes around. It's folklore now, but I was out at Bexley. I was about 40 night out at after tea, so it was about 4 o'clock, and I had to get married at 5 o'clock. At Matraville. And my old man just about grabbed me by the shirt collar and reached me off and got me out to the wedding in time. And my wife was 10 minutes late, and I thought, bugger, I could have got me 50.
No.
Yeah. So that's how keen I was.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Never took a match off for holidays. We'd go away to Bateman's Bay, and I'd drive back for my cricket, and then drive back to Bateman's Bay.
Yep.
So I love me cricket. I love Bexley, and I love me cricket, and I tried hard for it, and got some good records. So,
So. Mate, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you're up there with as an all-rounder, my gosh, and it's appropriate that the award, the all-rounder award, is given in your name. It's just tremendous.
Yeah,
just amazing.
Yeah, it was that.
Yeah.
And you're just reminiscing about with a dozen blokes there. I don't see them a lot now, but I always know them, and we've known each other for 40 years, and it's like yesterday when you go back there. I can I'll go to Paul and say, remember that game at Lane Cave when we did this and that, and he say, yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
That's what sport's about.
Yes. Yeah.
And I got it with football, and I got it with baseball, and I got it with cricket. I've got it with everyone. I'll probably get it with golf now, but that's what I love about sport and the friendships you got. I've had friends for years, well, for life. So
you played for many decades as well. You played through the 70s, 80s, 90s.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah, didn't get the 2000s. I was too old.
Yeah.
I just got there one day at practice, and I said, oh no. I was getting too embarrassed. I was playing 4th grade or something, and the year before, blokes were getting me out and giving me a send-off, and I said, like, 20 years ago you done that, I'd put you over the fence, And I knew it was like, I was just getting embarrassed, I just didn't want to embarrass myself anymore, so I just gave it away. Yeah. I always wanted to be, when I was there, I liked to be arrogant and good at it, and it was just taken away from me, so I just gave it away.
So you mentioned some guys in the 70s. What about maybe through the 80s? Who were you?
80s were they're the strong teams. They were the Peter Shields and all the Bennelong boys I was talking about.
Yep.
Ray Nixon was one of the best batsmen you'll ever see.
Yes.
Sean Woolner was one of the best. You'll find him in the records, probably 3 or 4
Seen
in a row.
his name's there. Oh, yeah.
Very good cricket. He was a hockey player.
Yep.
And he used to play cricket like a hockey. And he'd scoop it over here, hit the ball hard. Yeah. He was only a skinny little bloke. Terrific cricketer.
Yes.
Ray Nixon was probably one of the best technically correct and very good Kiwi bloke. I still see him all the time.
Yes.
We saw him at, I went to cricket with him in November because he comes across the ditch, or ditch, whatever they call it.
Yeah,
so that's another, we were very good friends for a long time.
Yeah.
We'd go on holidays and go to New Zealand and see him. So
yeah, nice.
So it was Ray Nixon, I said all the Bennelong boys, Peter Shields.
Yeah.
I was best man at his wedding.
Yeah, you mentioned that,
Terrific players like the Shane Watson of the Shires. Looks like him, bowled like him, batted like him. Bludgeoned the ball.
I remember that. Yeah, I think I only had the one game with Shieldsy. In my time, and no one else got a look in really.
No.
Yeah, he just dominated. Dominated from the start.
Player, Yeah, we had say Peter Rose and me and the Bennelong boys and Peter. We had a great team. I can't believe that we didn't win a comp those years. Okay, honestly, we had such good players.
Yeah.
I think there's one of these reports here that tells you that 4 players got over 450 runs. That's like you don't win a comp.
That's huge. Yeah. That number.
Work?
Yeah.
How does that work?
True. Unusual season.
So that was the 80s. 90s, I was. I think that was Mark England type era. Was it 90s? I would have been 40.
From memory, yeah.
Mark England was there. That's when I didn't sort of lose the desire, but that was when the money was starting to come into it.
Yes, okay.
And it really broke my heart when they changed from Bexley over to Canterbury, and they had to do it to survive.
That's right. Yes.
I was against it. Well, I wasn't against it. It was just I'm a Bexley boy, and Canterbury we used to hate them.
True. It was.
Absolutely hated them.
Irony that those two clubs came together.
Yeah, it was like St George Cronulla merging.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I can't remember who the king of Canterbury was. It was anyway. It was him and Cream in that. Anyway, they all got together and did it. So anyway, that took me a couple of years to adjust to.
Yes. Okay.
And then by the end of by the 90s, then I was just on the decline. So
fair enough. Yeah.
It sort of wound down there, and
Yeah.
But 80s was my 70s and 80s were
your peak.
They were my peak, yeah. And you can tell by the record books.
Yeah, very much.
I was scoring runs and taking wickets. So,
yeah. Fast forward to 2007, you got inducted into the Legends of Shires.
Yep.
Yeah. How was that?
I was just at home and some fella rang me up. I thought it was a hoax call.
Right.
I've never heard of him. He just said, I'm running this. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they chose it or I was nominated from you guys or what.
Right, okay.
But anyway, it was a good honour, yeah. good night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot of friends, you know, Jeff Armstrongs and Tomos and Croomies and Whitehouses and all there. So yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was on it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's fantastic. Yeah,
And I think, geez, was I that good?
well, you're in a select group within our club, that's for sure. So I've only got Bexley boys. Only got the 4 from memory. I think. I hope I've got my number right. Yeah, 4. Yeah.
You think there'd be more? As I said, Croomies should be 5, Tomos 6. It's good honour for the club.
Yes.
It's good for the club to see that, you know, so many people eligible for it or
Not so
whatever
much.
deserve
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mate,
But
thank
a
you
lot
so
of them
much.
too, and this is what I admire them. Croomy said I was always a good second grade, never quite a first. A lot of them didn't all play first grade. But they did all this stuff for the committee. You know?
That's it. Yes.
Lower graders doing that for the committee is very, very.
And that's the part which inspires me.
They had nothing to gain by it because they weren't playing first grade. They weren't doing this to whatever. You know,
was all
they were
about
happy
the club.
being C grade, but it was all about the club. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what I
Absolutely.
think. Yeah.
Mate, thank you so much.
That's all right.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you.